morning friends, I am from Adapt Solutions. I am Aruna, going to teach economics for first year students. So today we are going to learn about economics. Introduction to economics is the first chapter. So what is economics actually? Economics is a study of relationship between unlimited human wants and limited resources which have alternative uses. Understood? So which has alternative uses, that is economics. So we'll go for the topics, concepts of economics. What are the different concepts which we are going to learn in economics? Basic concepts. The first concept is about free goods. What is a good actually? A thing that satisfies human want directly is called a good. So in that, first one is free goods. What are free goods? Free goods are goods which are freely supplied by nature. For example, freely supplied in the sense here, they don't charge anything. For example, air, water and sunlight. These are the three free goods. So, air, water, these are the goods which are freely supplied by nature to all the human beings alike. So that's why they are called as free goods. Now, what are economic goods? Economic goods are those goods which come by charging a price. That is, the consumer has to purchase the commodity so that to satisfy himself. So on that, first one is pen. What is pen? You know, as we already know, pen, we need to purchase it. In the same way, pencil or book, laptop. These are all the goods which charge a price, and these come out, the supply is always less than their demand. Whereas for free goods, the supply is always more than their demand. So that is the basic difference between free and economic goods. Now what are consumer goods? The goods which directly satisfy a consumer are called consumer goods. That is, which are used for final consumption. The goods which directly satisfy the consumer for final consumption are called consumer goods. For example, fruits. As we already know, as a consumer, we purchase fruits for consumption. In the same way, milk, as well as dresses. These goods directly satisfy the consumer for their daily use. So that's why those are called consumer goods. The goods which directly satisfy the consumer for final consumption are called consumer goods. The next, producer or capital goods. What are producer or capital goods? What is a capital good? You know, as we already know, producer goods. Producer goods means what? The goods which are used for further production are called producer goods, and they are also called as capital goods. Goods which are used for further production of some other good are called producer goods. Example, steel, machinery, bricks. These are all the goods which are used for further production of something else, which can be used by the producer in the production process. As we already know, consumers and production, unless there is a production, consumption can't be possible. So that's why producer goods are a must in every economy. So as a consumer has to consume, producer has to produce. Intermediary goods. What are intermediary goods? Goods which are semi-finished. What are the goods? Goods which are semi-finished. That is, whose production is not complete are called intermediary goods. That is, while in the production process, that particular good needs further production. See, for example, bricks. Bricks are produced by the producer, but that production is not complete unless until these bricks are used for the construction of building. Got it? So, intermediate goods are goods which are semi-finished goods, which are used in the production, which are not completed their production until that is utilized in the production process, such as bricks. And the next is steel. Another example is steel. You know what is steel? Steel is used in the buildings, construction of building. Until this steel is produced, this cannot be used in the construction of building. Until it is used in the construction of building, that particular purpose is not completed. So that are semi-finished, that are semi-finished goods. These are, what are these? Semi-finished goods, brick, steel and all that, cement, steel, brick, these are all the goods which are produced for the further production of. So that's why these are called intermediary goods. Utility. What is utility? The want satisfying capacity. What utility is what? It is a want satisfying capacity of a commodity. Satisfying what? Satisfying what is want? As a human being, we have so many wants. So those wants have to be satisfied. Early morning, from taking the milk to sleep, to going to bed, we need so many things for the satisfaction. So those things which are satisfying, that is the things which have the capacity to satisfy a human want, is said to have utility. What is that want? Want satisfying capacity of a commodity. Commodity is nothing but a good. Anything which satisfies which has a capacity to satisfy the want of a consumer is said to have utility. Next. What is utility? What are its types? Now, what is actually utility? Utility is nothing but want satisfying capacity. Want satisfying of a commodity. As a human being, we have so many wants. We need so many things. So that particular, for satisfaction of the want, we need so many things. So particular thing has the satisfying capacity of a commodity. That particular thing is said to have utility. Want satisfying capacity of a commodity is called utility. Understood? So what is utility? Want satisfying capacity of a commodity is called utility. What are the different types of utility? First, form utility. If a commodity satisfies a consumer by changing its size, shape and color, any particular commodity satisfies a consumer by changing its size, shape and color, shape or size. Example, log of wood. As we already know, you know what is log of wood? Log of wood is brought from the forest, then it is made into a chair or table, then so that the consumer can sit and satisfy his want of sitting. So unless and until that particular log of wood has changed its shape, it cannot be satisfied. So that is why that particular thing, that is called form utility. The next is place utility. When particular thing changes its place, then if it satisfies the consumer, that particular thing is said to have place utility. Say for example, vegetables. Vegetables are produced, where are they produced actually? They are produced in the fields. Will the consumer go to the fields to purchase the vegetables? No. The vegetables have to be brought to the market so that they satisfy the consumer. So that's why that particular vegetables are examples for place utility. Until and unless they are shifted their place, they can't satisfy the consumer. So that is what. The next is time utility. Particular goods satisfy the consumer in particular periods of time. See for example, cooled ice cream. In summer season only there will be demand for ice creams. As we already know, we purchase ice creams in summer only. So only on particular periods of time when particular thing acquires, that is satisfy the consumer more, that is said to be, those come under the time utility. Example, you can take it as sweaters also. Sweaters, they are used only in winter season. Ice creams are used only in summer season. The next is service utility. In addition to the goods, as we already discussed, there are certain services also which satisfy the consumer. That is another type of utility. Example, teachers. lawyers, etc. As we already know, teachers, until the teacher teaches, the student will not be satisfied. In the same way, lawyers service also. So, that is the one type of utility called service utility. By certain services also, in addition to the goods, certain services also satisfy the consumer in one form or the other. Understood? This is about the different types of utility. Economics is divided into two types, micro and macroeconomics. So, further you are going to learn about what is micro and macro. Microeconomics. What is this micro? Microeconomics is derived from the Greek term called micros. Micros means small, whereas macroeconomics is derived from the Greek word term macros. Macros means large. That is, when you study the economy as a whole. Next. What is this next one? That is economics. Microeconomics studies about individual units. As we said, micros means small. Small means what? Individually. When you study the economy individually, that is called microeconomics. Whereas macroeconomics studies the economy as a whole. That is, entire economy when you study, that study is called macroeconomics. Whereas you study the individually, when you study individual unit, if you study, that is called microeconomics. The next distinction is price theory. Microeconomics is also called as price theory. Why? Because it explains about pricing in the commodity and factor markets. Prices of certain goods are studied under microeconomics, whereas macroeconomics is called as income and employment theory. When you study about macroeconomics, you study the economy as a whole. Economy as a whole, in the sense here, it studies about total income and as well as total employment. That is economy as a whole. Economy is nothing but the country's economic activities you study as a whole. That is called macroeconomics. When you study about individual units, that is called microeconomics. That's why it is called, it is individually studied, and pricing in commodity and factor markets, only the factor and commodity markets. Another distinction of micro and macroeconomics is price determination. Microeconomics studies price determination in commodity and factor market, whereas macroeconomics studies national income, total employment, aggregate and investment, employment aggregates, saving and investment, and general price level. What is that? Because macroeconomics studies economy as a whole. That's why it studies about total income, national income, total employment, aggregates, saving and investment. Whereas microeconomics studies only about individual units. That's why it explains about the